Hi, I'm Plami, and in this episode of Plami's Thoughts On, I'm gonna share my thoughts on the 5th episode of the 13th season of what used to be one of my favorite shows ever, Doctor Who. And honestly, I don't even know where to begin with this episode because we did get quite a lot of stuff, in a way. We did have quite a lot of stuff happening. It was very much another one of those episodes which is like all over the place with so many things happening in the episodes that, in a way, it's a little bit hard to follow and keep up. But I feel like it's probably the best out of those type of episodes in this season because so far this season we've kind of switched up between more self-contained episode about a villain, and then we would get another episode that is more for like setting up the story. Like for example, episode 1 this season was like this episode. It was very much lots of stories being set up and moved in the episode. Episode 2 was a more self-contained story. Episode 3 again was just setting up a lot of stuff. Episode 4 was again a self-contained story. And episode 5 now was again a bit of a mess with a lot of things happening. So I'm expecting that episode 6 is gonna be a more self-contained story, but the question is exactly what the story is gonna be about. I'm expecting that we're actually finally gonna get an explanation of who the Doctor is and what being the timeless child means, because in this episode it's discussed a little bit, and I've read some people's theories about it, and I swear, I fucking swear, if their theories turn out to be correct, I'm done. I'm just gonna be fucking done with Doctor Who. And I've already talked about this before in my video about RTD coming back as showrunner, but I'm probably gonna be done with Doctor Who after we're done with this Flux and Timeless Child crap for two reasons. One, because I feel like even once he comes back and the quality of the show improves, I wouldn't feel like letting my guard down and getting into the show again only for me to get pissed off at the next showrunner deciding to adapt their shitty fanfic into the show. And two, I don't really know if I even like it. Like, even if I try to like it, I don't know if I will even care enough. But also 3, because RTD has shown that he likes the Timeless Child twist. So there's no hope for a retcon of the retcon once he comes back. Some people seem to act like, oh, RTD coming back is gonna be like Jesus Christ saving Doctor Who, or something along those lines, and think that everything's gonna go back to normal once he comes in. But nothing really points to that. He has shown that he likes the concept of the Timeless Child, of there being thousands of doctors that we haven't even seen until this point, that are from the past, not from the future. And he, in his novelizations of his episodes that he has done, he has included scenes with future/past doctors that we haven't seen before. So there's no hope of him removing it. And I don't want to watch Doctor Who with this retcon, especially with where it is going. Because I've read some theories that there's a possibility that Vinder and Bell might be the Doctor's parents. Because in this episode, when the Doctor meets Tecteun, which I definitely did not see that coming, although it kind of makes sense that that old lady is gonna be Tecteun. I kind of should have picked up on that, because who the fuck else it would be? It's logical. But like, when the Doctor talks to Tecteun, they kind of speculate that there's a possibility that the Doctor might have just been either left by the dimensional gateway by her parents because they just left her for a second, or maybe they got sucked by the dimensional portal, or any other things like that. There's no reason why they would speculate that and bring that up if that is not actually the case. And on the other hand, you also kind of have to think about, why the hell are we even still following Vinder and Bell? How do they play into the whole story? Why are we supposed to care about it? You know? Why? Because for Yaz, she was the companion, so we care about her. Dan is the companion, so we care about him. And any branch out story connection that they create, like for example with Dan and his girlfriend Diane, I think it was her name. That's why we care about her, because of Dan. But Vinder, what is his connection? He met Yaz, I guess, but they didn't build any kind of emotional connection. So realistically, there is no reason for us, from a narrative standpoint, to care about him. Except the possibility that he is the Doctor's dad. I mean, why the hell would they otherwise also have like a baby, just to make us care about that couple and about these characters? This gotta play into something bigger. And I'm gonna be so mad if they turn out to be the Doctor's parents, because that would be just dumb. And I'm really gonna be curious to see how dipshits on the Doctor Who subreddit and the Gallifrey subreddit try to defend Chibnall writing that, because all of the defenses that I've seen about the Timeless Child as a twist is that, oh, it brings the mystery back in Doctor Who, the Doctor now has a lot much more mystery to their past and the way they were born or whatever. Well, that's not gonna be the case if we find out that Vinder and Belle are her parents. So I would really enjoy seeing those people squirm trying to do something about their cognitive dissonance and try to figure out a way to justify Chibnall's shitty writing. And who knows, maybe it could turn out that Swarm and Azure are the Doctor's parents. Because there's also that possibility, considering that the clothes that the Timeless Child was wearing when she was left behind at the Dimensional Portal are very similar to what Azure and Swarm wear when you look at the little details, like gold details on their clothes. It really looks similar, so that also has to have a connection with the Doctor being the Timeless Child. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna find out about it next week, because next week, as we see in the trailer, Azure takes the watch that contains the Doctor's memories that she can't remember from season 1 Hartnell, and she opens it, so the Doctor is almost definitely getting her memories back. The question is what exactly that fucking means, because it could either be the death of Doctor Who, it could either be the end of Doctor Who for me, period, because as I said, I don't know if I would want to, or if I would if I would unconsciously want to continue watching Doctor Who, or whether I would want to even force myself to get into Doctor Who again, because I don't want to get fucked over like this in the future. Or yeah, it could be the end of Doctor Who as hell, because this is such a ridiculous, dumb story. And that's the thing about it. Even if they are parts of this story that I like I like Village of the Angels, I like a lot of scenes that have happened in this story. But that doesn't really change the fact that this just feels like a shitty fanfic. Tell me it doesn't. Like, comment down below and tell me that it doesn't. Explain yourself how it doesn't feel like a fanfiction. And this is not like to shit on any fanfictions or anything. I think fanfictions are a great idea for fans to explore their love for their favorite franchise. But there's a difference in the fact that fanfictions should not get made into the franchises, should not be made into actual parts of the franchises that they are from. Because there's a huge difference in quality between the two. Like, fanfiction being schlocky and being very up the ass of the writer, if you get what I mean, is fine. Like, that is cool. And fanfiction, as I said, I feel like are a good way for future writers to start to build up and practice their writing. But fanfictions should be recognized for being fanfictions. It's fine if you take things from your fanfiction and make it into the story, into the show, into the franchise that you love, and make it part of it. But it shouldn't feel like a fanfiction idea. This whole season, and even the last 3 seasons, just feel like a fanfiction. But this season especially, Honestly, I gave a lot of shit to Series 11 of Gymno's run, but I honestly kind of miss it because of that. Because as much as it was boring and bland and infuriating with some of its political messaging, it was harmless at the end of the day. And at least it was a little different, I guess. I can commend it for that. I kind of ended up liking the tone, but it obviously had a lot of left to be desired for it. But Series 12 and Series 13 have just ruined Doctor Who for me. This feels completely detached from the rest of Doctor Who. It doesn't fit with it tonally, it's just ridiculous and over the top. It just doesn't fit with Doctor Who. Like I think I said in my review for Village of the Angels, Doctor Who for me, as crazy and ridiculous as it gets, I feel like it has, for the most part, kept being grounded in a way. There was no super ridiculous concepts that are not just like a few steps above normal science. Like it was kind of like sci-fi, not just I mean, I don't even know what to call it, but it's not like magic. Like there was still science behind the sci-fi. I don't really understand what the science behind the Doctor being able to turn into an angel, because that was never established as a thing before. It just feels completely detached from the Doctor Who that I know and love. And that also helps the fact that this season just feels like a shitty fanfiction. Like it straight up feels like only a fanfiction would want to delve into the Doctor's past. It would reveal some stupid retcon that the Doctor has been the Doctor for far longer than we ever thought we knew them. And only a fan fiction would create these ridiculous concepts of multiverse and there being space between the multiverses, when we already have established that there's only the void between the universes. There's only the void between the multiverses. So I guess that station where Tech-21 is in the void. It's a void ship. I don't know. But we already have pre-established ideas about these things. Like, the thing is, it's on its own. These things that are happening this season are not a bad idea. But this just feels like a shitty version of Crisis of Infinite Earths on the CW, which was already a shitty story, in my opinion, but that is a topic for another video. It literally feels like that. And a lot of the aspects of it are very much the same. People, villains who disintegrate everything. Check. Space Force that disintegrates everything. Check. They even disintegrate in a very similar way, I would say. Characters being stuck in a place which is nowhere in space, like it's between in the nothing, which in the DC shows it's the vanishing point from Legends of Tomorrow, and in this case it's Tech-21's ship. It's just a shitty version of Crisis of Infinite Earths, which again, as I said, is already a shitty version of the story. Yeah, I don't know. I know I went a little bit of a rant and I'm just a little bit rambling, but this shit just pisses me off, or at least it has the possibility of pissing me off, so yeah, I just wanted to rant. I guess we'll see where next episode is gonna lead us to, and that is either gonna be it for me or very close to it. I mean, at this point I just want to know the final nail in the Timeless Child coffin. I just want to see the final nail be nailed in, just so I know I can finally settle on my opinion, because a lot of people, again on the subreddits, have been saying, oh, you can't judge the story before you see the full story. Chibnall had a 5-year plan. We can't judge the story before we see the end of it, which is just a ridiculous idea if you ask me. But okay, I'll buy it. So is this gonna be considered the end of the story? Because if it is, I'm gonna shit on it so much. Especially depending on whether the theories about the Doctor's parents end up being true. because that might be worse than revealing the Doctor as a non-Gallifreyan, non-Time Lord creature who is the reason for all Time Lords having their powers. Because now even the Master as a villain feels like a generic, feels like nothing, you know? It just feels like nothing. And he was supposed to be the Doctor's rival. He was supposed to be the reverse Flash to the Doctor's Flash, you know? And now he's not. He's not. Swarm is that. Which is why... I don't know if I brought that up before in one of my episode reviews, but Swarm is very much the master in terms of his character and the writing for his character and his performance. He's the master. He's essentially the master. Which is kind of reductive and makes the master feel like a cheap villain by comparison. But yeah, I don't know. There's just so much to talk about, and I'm sure people who are better than me at conveying their thoughts and who make better videos than me are gonna explain why this retcon and why the possibilities of what we could learn next episode are just scary. Yeah, I guess on the other hand I also have to address the rest of the episodes in which we followed that one guy Vinder was working on in his invasion of Earth. Why the fuck does he care about Earth? I was under the impression he had time travel. I didn't expect to see him again at all, actually. I thought he was just gonna be like a part of the backstory for Vinder, but no, apparently he's gonna be more than that. Why? I don't know. But the thing about his scenes that annoys me personally a little bit, even though I don't really care about that personally, but seeing people who love the show and love the franchise be pissed off about it pisses me off, because there's this thing called the unit dating controversy, which is the fact, I think from what I've learned about it, is that there's a confusion between when certain episode stories and things about UNIT, the organization in Doctor Who, happened. There's a confusion about the specific dates and years for all the events in the unit's history and when they happened. And in this episode, Chibnall did not give two shits about any of those dates or whatever, so he kind of made it worse. So people are pissed off about it, which makes me pissed off about it, because it shows that Chibnall does not give a shit about the fans, does not give a shit about the show. Which also brings me back to talking about him a little bit. And something that I think I already mentioned in one of my previous reviews. Who is this season for? Who is this season of Doctor Who for? Who is the show for right now? It certainly is not for casuals, because even I, as a hardcore fan, feel like I hardly am able to keep up with anything that is happening on screen at the moment. So it's clearly not for casuals, but the way it messes with canon and the ridiculous shit that is happening, and it feeling like a fanfic, it's clearly not for fans either. So who the fuck is this for? For Chibnall to be able to jerk off at the fact that he finally adapted his shitty fanfic from when he was 5 years old? I don't know, I'm just mad about that, dude. And then we also had Yaz, Dan, and Jericho. That was honestly the best part of the episode for me. I fucking loved all their scenes. I did not expect to see, that we were going to see Jericho again, but he's such a cool character even in the last episode. And in this episode, seeing Yaz, Dan, and Jericho globetrotting, that was so fucking good. I would love to watch a spin-off with these three characters. Don't bring them back from the past. Let them be stuck in the past and leave them to just have to globetrot, because that shit was so cool, and the dialogue and the banter between them was hilarious, man. I fucking love Dan and Jericho. They're so good. I love it. I love it. Yeah. It was pretty... That part of the episode was definitely really funny. I really enjoyed it. Although it was, again, a little bit nonsensical how they were just jumping from location to location. That also kind of makes the story feel like a fanfic, because the pacing is just all over the fucking place. Well, on one side, you have the Doctor talking with Tech for the whole episode, On the other hand, you have Dan, Yaz, and Jericho traveling around the world for years. It just feels weird. And also, I guess there's a little tiny thing that the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter too much, but I forgot to bring it up for the last few episodes. That being the fact that I feel like the costumes for the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels, and in this episode, Dude, are garbage. I don't know what it is about it that makes it feel off and weird and unrealistic, but I don't know, it just does. The Cybermen also for some reason really feel fake to me because I feel like you can see the black cloth or whatever it is under the Cybermen parts for the suits. It just feels like a person walking inside of that armor, not a robot now. That's why I feel like I think it was like a Series 7 Cyberman design was the best. Because like at least for the Mondasian Cyberman, it makes sense why it should feel that there is like a person underneath the costume. But for like the more modern take on the Cyberman, like in Series 7, it shouldn't. And it shouldn't for these new looking Cybermen as well. So they look more fake by comparison. The Sontarans, not necessarily that much, but it's just the way they've done their heads just feels more like a cap. It doesn't feel like a body part in the same way that they've felt for all of New Who. The Weeping Angels as well. I don't know what it is about it. Is it the fact that they're probably using more CGI for them than they would have otherwise used before? But they just look weirdly less detailed and fuzzy, and that kind of ruins it. I don't know why. Because like in previous seasons of Doctor Who, they've always felt like actual statues there, and the fact that they looked like statues made them feel like they're truly statues, which brought out more of the fear against them. But now they don't really feel like they're there. They feel more CGI'd in. There is a surprising lack of detail onto them. They just like feel fake. I don't know really why. More than that, you know? Just feels like they're not as detailed as they used to be. And even Dude in this episode, it just doesn't look as real as it used to be. It doesn't look as organic as it used to be. It just looks like a prosthetic. Especially those little things underneath the mouth. The Dude head. Just looks fake as fuck to me. I don't know. Just that kind of bothers me and takes me out of it. Because people love to say that this era of Doctor Who has some really crazy VFX, which I would agree in terms of at least the visuals. But the actual effects for creatures and everything has not been really that great. Especially the practical effects. And it's a really damn shame that Doctor Who, a show that used to be loved for its writing, not for its effects, now has to be loved for its effects and not for its writing. Talk about selling out and not staying true to yourself. But yeah, I don't know. This episode was definitely the most cohesive out of the three bunch of stories happening at the same time episodes, which were like episode 1, episode 3, and this one. But I feel like how much I'm gonna like this episode overall is gonna depend on how next episode ends. It's definitely nowhere near as good as Village of the Angels, which in my opinion is the best episode of the Chibnall era by far, and it's gonna be the one episode of this era that I am actually interested in rewatching in the future. This one I might just rewatch because of the scenes with Dan, Yaz, and Jericho, because they were just so entertaining. But other than that, it's just kind of forgettable. It could be the bullet that strikes and kills Doctor Who, but it also cannot be. We'll see, I guess, next week. I just want to know, just so I can finally complain and hate on Chibnall even more with the full knowledge of what he did to Doctor Who, you know? But yeah, in terms of a rating for this episode, I guess I'm gonna give it like an 8.1 out of 10. It was fine, like it was more enjoyable. It was the best written, as I said, out of these three episodes with lots of story happening at the same time, but it's still not as interesting as last week's episode or War of the Suntarans. And apparently we're gonna have the Suntarans in next episode as well, so I don't know why that happens, but whatever. But yeah, what did you guys think about these episodes? Comment down below and let's have a discussion about it. And also, as usual, I want to give a huge shout out to my currently 3 patrons on Patreon: Omari Bridgman, Deadpool, and Lemonade. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me that you have decided to support me because you enjoy my videos. It just truly means a lot, and I feel like I can ever repay you for that. And now, before we end this video, I just want to talk about something to you guys very quickly, which some of you may or may have not noticed before or know about me, that being the fact that I am trans. And yes, this may come as shocking to some of you because I don't really flaunt it that much on my channel, or at least I feel like I don't. Outside of like my K-pop reactions, which is where I feel like the most comfortable being myself like this. And yeah, I am in fact trans. I'm not necessarily full-on male to female, but I heavily want to transition to being pretty female. I do consider myself more non-binary though, or maybe gender fluid would be the best descriptor as well, because I do have occasional moments where I feel fine being like just a normal guy, but most of the time, like right now, I do feel very dysphoric. And that's why I'm asking you guys for any help that you can give me, because my situation right now, I don't really see any way outside of you guys' help. Because, and this is gonna be kept short and concise, I live with my parents. They're never going to accept me as a trans person. They just never will. And as a matter of fact, back when I started the YouTube channel, I was actually kind of slightly starting my transition back then, with like starting to grow out my hair. I even got to DIY HRT, but because my parents started noticing certain things like my behavior had changed a lot and my clothes had changed a lot, I kind of had to stop doing that because they were constantly nagging me about cutting my hair and just started to kind of be threatening in a certain way, and felt like they were ashamed of me and everything. And that just kind of stress just tired me out to the point where I just gave up. But as dysphoria goes, it just doesn't go away, you know. I still feel like this, and in fact it's somewhat been intensifying again recently, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. And again, I would really appreciate any amount of support you can give me in regards to this, because I just don't see any way out of this. Because even if I moved out of my parents' house and got myself a job and everything, that's just not gonna work for long-term planning, because once I transition, it's like I probably will not be able to get myself a job because my country is very transphobic. Nobody gives a shit about LGBT people at all. So there's not even much I can do even in terms of transitioning here. So yeah, I don't know. I just would appreciate any amount of support you can give me, be it monetarily or in any way otherwise. And this is not about boosting my channel or anything, or guilt tripping you with my sob story. I just wanted to get this off my chest and make my subscribers aware of the situation that I am in, and that I would appreciate anything that you guys can help me out with. It would mean literally everything. Like, for example, a friend that I made after starting this YouTube channel, my good friend Yuri, has been helping me out a lot. And I genuinely might have not been here if it wasn't for him showing up and befriending me. So yeah, this just went a little bit longer than I intended, but I would just really appreciate anything you can support me with. That's kind of ultimately what I'm trying to say. And yeah, Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon where you can pledge your support and help with the channel going. It helps support me so I can keep writing stories you enjoy. You can also go to my Ko-fi account where you can also pledge your support, although keep in mind that that one is more for like one-time support kind of thing where you just donate once or maybe multiple times, but the point is that you don't really get any benefits outside of like a thank you mention in my videos like that. But whichever site you want to support me through is up to you really. And if you don't want to support me monetarily, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!